So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Don't forget to breathe and happy stretching.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUF for life. We are IUF.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Isai Sipunga. In the news tonight, employers can impose vaccine mandates, says Health Minister. Those sleeping in tents in the city at the mercy of flash floods. Daycare rape raises concern. Regain Trust Amplified program empowers the youth. Concerns expressed over uranium exploration. And Roundup, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. First up, the Labour Act, according to Kalumbi Shangula, the Minister of Health and Social Services, compels employers to ensure that all employees and visitors are safe at the workplace. According to Shangula, employers should consider the virus's severity because they could be held liable for negligence and prosecuted if they fail to preserve the workplace's safety in the context of COVID-19.
Disputes have developed between labor unions and employers, such as Namibia's National Petroleum Corporation and the National Defence Force, which recently mandated that all employees get vaccinated against COVID-19 in order to ensure a safe working environment. Chapter 4 of Namibia's Labour Act, according to the Health Minister, gives employers the ability to enforce vaccine mandates and supports the premise that employers have a duty to safeguard workers and members of the general public who come into contact with the workplace.
The Labour Act obliges the employer to ensure that the workplace is safe for the workers and also for those who are coming to the workplace. Now, COVID-19 is one of those which the employer must consider. And if you have a factory, for example, with 100 workers, and then none of them is vaccinated. One of them comes from home, is infected, and infect the whole 100. The factory will be closed. Medical expenses will be a lot. Some of them may die. That is a negligence on the employer side, and then can be taken to task for that. And therefore, it's critically important that the workplace is made safe. And in the context of COVID-19, it means that the workplace, the employees, the workers must be vaccinated.
The debate over whether vaccine mandates are constitutional is constrained by the Supreme Court's upholding of fundamental constitutional rights such as personal liberty, human dignity, and the ability to conduct any profession, trade or business. Despite the fact that the Labour Act supports vaccine mandates, Shangula explained that the government issued an official policy decision to adopt voluntary vaccines as part of the National Vaccination Rollout Program.
Now let me explain something. If there is always a talk about my right to choose and to be vaccinated or not. Fair, that's fair. If you live alone. If you're alone in your desert without interaction with anybody, you have the full right to do so. But if you are interacting with other people, the fact that you are not vaccinated, you infringe on the right of those who wants to be protected from you. In other words, you can cause a death of another person. You are not vaccinated, you contract the infection, you pass it on to another person, and another person died because you were exercising your right. But then you took away the right of another person, including taking his life. Therefore, it is important for us to understand this in context. Where there are people together, the interest of one individual should not override the interest of everybody else. This is critically important.
In a new research titled Vaccine Mandates, the Legal Assistance Center found that the Correctional Services Act 9 of 2012 and the Defense Act 1 of 2002 in Namibian statute law enables convicts and soldiers to be vaccinated without their consent. Despite the ministry's success in controlling the spread of the virus, the health minister further cautioned that a fourth wave could emerge, urging people to get vaccinated and strengthen public health measures in order to resume normal life and economic activities.
Oranjemund, established in 1936, from which point onward CDM, now Namdeb Diamond Corporation, provided every service, the schooling, infrastructure and entertainment required for the people of the town. The winds of change is blowing over Oranjemund, which is no longer a closed town.
So this ship was commandeered by King Jao III, and he actually sent a knight to Spain to go and fetch some money from investors, because they wanted to go and fetch some spices in India.
When we were kids, the mine delivered milk, bread, and black paper, black plastic bags for your rubbish, and cleaned your garden, did the maintenance of your house. You had furniture already installed in your house.
Get ready to enjoy Simba's sounds of flavor.
All the Simba flavors. Let's roll. Liza, smoke beef. Kwenga finiga. Shaya chocolate. Shakita mud. Ossa.
Together we roar because Simba roars with flavor.
With many residents in the city of Windhoek living in shacks and makeshift structures, they now fear the upcoming flash floods that could damage their homes and property. Meanwhile, the municipality has issued a cautionary message urging them to be vigilant as the rainy season approaches.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Dirty place because it's almost like a dumping site. So we are pleading our leaders, we are begging if it's necessary. We are begging that you help us, you put us in a place where we can survive as human as well. Because God is for one, all the people. We also belong to God and we belong to this nation, this Namibia. We are from Namibia. Help us. We are pleading you. In these days, rain, it just gave us a missed call. As we know, as my colleague was saying, this rain of Windhoek can rain. It's not a joke. And imagine we are going to find ourselves, maybe one day you guys come here, you find us in the river because there's no way we can go. We cannot go knock in people's houses and say they help us. They will say also, no, we cannot help you. Fight as we did also.
So at Indire municipality, at the Indire they need to call it Matere. Ishararo mendero siendere la. It is a big apegeta and no kuida no negen hanging of Pire Pata Trucata Trapo. Pombata to Trua to Kata and Damam Ilon and the Sharan on the Ropacasmo Mangati Trang with the shell. Shaspek and Gamma Mutuli. Tunapo Mevena Matero, Nuna Vashina Mutu on a Varigo. Upon Gulmi Mungari, no Kana, Patachoka Pupsara, and a Capsino.
After the first rainfall this year in the capital, the homeless who grabbed land in the Tobias Hainyeko constituency earlier this year have been sleeping at the soccer field. They say the first rain scared them, but they have nowhere else to go.
It was a terrible rain. Even we not expected that the rain would be like this. It was very small, but when you see it, all over the black plastic was full of ice blocks. So we wonder all over the thing was wet because the water was too much. So we are pleading our city of Windhoek, as we are following up our proposal that we proposed to them. We just want, for now, as the rain is coming, we just want even a temporary place where they can put us, because this rain is Windhoek rain is too much heavy. It's not like maybe the village, maybe you can run, but this one is heavy. And we are having small kids here with 11 kids. Some of them, they are 3 kids, some of them we have pregnant women here, so it's difficult for them on this situation for rain season. So that's why we are pleading to them, and even there's an opposition place there, we even view it. We went to Mr. David Wanga at City of Windhoek, we asked that proposal there, maybe for this time around, they might just help us to put our things there for just a temporary while the city are preparing for us a place where to take us. That's why we are begging to the government, to the municipalities, the top management, because we are trying to follow up to even now. I'm come from there. I dropped a letter that we are requiring that they must give us even a temporary place where can we put it, because due to the key that we are having here.
In the rain season now. So we are just telling the city must do something. So they cannot just promise. The promise is taking long. Yeah. So they must do something, and we are having also a kid also. From here they are going to school. Now, like yesterday, all of them, they did not went to school. Yeah. The uniform, the books, so they get wet. Yeah. So the end of the day, then from there they will just blame us as parents. But because the problem of the situation, we are staying also. Yeah, since they demolish us, yeah, from the beginning until now, we are just here. We are standing, we are follow the producer with what they are telling us, but still they are not coming back to us, even to assist us, even like a small place in I don't know whatever way, even to tell us where we stand. Also, you can put even the 4 things or maybe 5, just to prevent the wind and the water and the rain. But it's nothing at all, it can come now.
The city of Windhoek cautioned the residents and visitors that are in Windhoek that they might experience flash floods and strong winds in the next couple of weeks. Such a situation may lead to damage to properties, power cuts, flooding, and the use of some roads may become unsafe. Community members are urged to be vigilant, and those residents living in riverbanks in the informal settlements are advised to move to higher ground. The regional councillor for the Tobias Hainyeko constituency, Christopher Likua, was contacted for comment on any possible solution for those sleeping in the field. He has promised to revert to Today on 1, but failed to do so.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
The incident in which a 5-year-old girl allegedly fell victim to rape raises serious concern amongst many locals, especially in the Katutura area. What's more worrisome is the fact that no one has been arrested yet, according to reports.
The incident reportedly occurred last week at a daycare in Katatura's Vanaheda suburb. Police, according to an online report, cannot identify the suspect due to a lack of evidence.
I think that's where we have come as a society. We have become complacent to these occurrences of violations of women and especially of children. A little one tells you a story, and now we must now dispute even the little child's story. Where are we in our society? What's happening? Why are we acting like that? And why is it that the evidence and whatever cannot be found? Because once this story is out there, once there is such a complaint, everybody must fall onto it immediately and find out the correct truth, so that we don't leave a mother with that kind of feedback.
The question on the ground is, how safe are children at daycares?
have grudges, they have issues.
Zachary Itodo from the No to Gender-Based Death and Violence Initiative urges parents to remain calm as the matter is in the hands of police investigators.
I'll say to parents not to panic. All they need to do is be observant. Before you give your child into the care of a daycare, you should know the background. At least the people who are working there, especially the males who are working there, the kind of caregivers that are working there, and the owner itself, the owner of that place. How are they? Are they trustworthy? Have you done a security check on them to ascertain? And even to those who are employing people, have you done a check on these people you're employing to ascertain their mental state? Because it's disheartening. There's nothing anybody can say. I personally cannot say anything because the matter is now in the hands of those that are in charge.
Is the 5-year-old the only unfortunate victim, or are there many? Police investigations will determine whether or not it is only the tip of the iceberg.
It's Bucky season at OK, where everybody's rushing for the chance to win a Bucky, fully loaded with groceries every week. Just buy any of our participating products and swipe. Plus, get Bocomo Wheat Bix for a low $37.99, Store Country Spread for just $35.99, and Baby Soft 2-ply toilet rolls for only $54.99. Don't miss this Bucky season, only at OK. Owners you can count on.
We can't wait to welcome new friends. But until then, let's stay safe.
Walfish Bay High School learners encouraged their peers and friends to focus on their future rather than indulging in risky behavior that could lead to pregnancy while still in their teens, as there is a great concern about learner pregnancy in Walfish Bay. The learners took part in the Regain Trust Amplified program that aims to educate and empower young people about sexual and gender-based violence in order to reduce the number of teenage pregnancies.
We also decided to work with the High School of Independence, which is the NSF, and the High School of Tutaleni, which is Tutaleni High. Our main reason why we decided to work with these two communities and schools is due to the fact of high teenage pregnancy in these communities and high gender pregnancy. So we have been working throughout this whole month, this whole year since we launched our project with the NSF and Tutaleni High, and the Independence, and then also Tutaleni itself. So far we have reached over 200 kids in school, kids with information regarding sexual reproductive health and information regarding SGB, or sexual violence and gender-based violence. We also work very closely with the counselors from these two communities, which is the urban counselor and which is also the rural counselor. We did have a seminar with these community members and the gatekeepers of these two communities, which is now the pastors, the life school teachers, and the counselors themselves.
In the Amplified team, learners taught their classmates about the difficulties that teenagers confront. Teen pregnancy, sugar mummies and daddies, and gender-based abuse were all discussed.
Marital, sexual relationship between an adult and a young person with an age difference of at least 10 years. Nowadays, we now call them sugar mummies and sugar daddies. So they now keep that definition at the back of your brain, and then you guys listen to our dialogue, what we have to say about sugar mummies and sugar daddies. You know me, unfortunately, for us young people, immediately when someone tells you that they love you or they find you attractive, your mind immediately talks to your heart, and somehow you guys fall in love with this person. So this person can be abusing you emotionally, however. But then you still decide to stay in this emotionally abusive relationship. So guys, when they tell you that they love you, immediately ignore it. No, not sometimes. Completely ignore it. Now, because you are in school there, and this person already works, immediately you guys will feel like, yes, he's the one for you because he's providing all these things for you. And as Claudia mentioned, there are people willing to buy you the sanitary stuff, buy you clothes, donate clothes to you, help you with school fees. There are people that can help you with this. Just know that what you're doing, unfortunately, I have to say, that is prostitution. It's giving you something, and in return you are giving them your body. In Namibia, according to our constitution, Mr. Bulletin will agree, I believe, if you're dating anyone 3 years older than you, it's considered a crime.
The Amplified Initiative, which focuses on the Rongo, Khomas, Oshana and Omasati regions, was inaugurated in November 2020. In December this year, the program will continue with community sessions in several regions, with an emphasis on 16 days of community activism.
The Agricultural Union of Namibia held an information session with commercial farmers on the underground aquifers of the Stampriet-Artisan Basin after concerns were raised over possible uranium in situ leaching activities impacting SAB underground aquifers.
The various concerns are acid leaching and potential extensive contamination by uranium and associated heavy metals of critical underground water. Geologist Roy Miller explained the possible consequences involved should authorities issue an environmental clearance certificate to continue underground pilot project acid leaching of uranium.
One cannot see, taste or smell natural radioactivity. Uranium is a heavy metal, it's also radioactive. In humans and animals, the long-term consumption of radioactive elements and heavy metals affects lungs, liver, kidneys, your central nervous system, other vital organs, and causes cancer. And because you can't see it and taste it and smell it, people are petrified of radioactivity. And what we've got to be careful of is blanket perceptions. Chris Brown mentioned of the Chamber of the Environment that every time, and he was on the board of Gondwana for a while, quite a while, every time there was an outbreak of Ebola in West Africa, tourist numbers to Namibia just dropped. Like they were thinking Africa's one country. Meanwhile, West Africa is closer to Berlin than it is to Namibia. That was a blanket perception. And we've got to be careful of that. If people think our animals and we are drinking water with uranium or allowing this to go ahead because solutions can escape into the aquifer. There could be the blanket perception, don't eat Namibian meat, don't drink Namibian water, and that will be Namibia as a whole.
Miller further stressed on the value that the basin holds, noting that it's the lifeblood of many Namibians, while adding that the exploration shows disregard for the health and safety of Namibians.
It's far more valuable as an asset than any mining inside it. Anything that can disturb the quality of that drinking water. Remember, it's always drinking water, and we've got to prevent it. And we've got to show no sympathy for Headspring Investments, that's the company, because they know beforehand. ISL, in situ leaching, involves thousands of boreholes. Solutions are recirculated for up to 5 years. Underground and surface breakdowns happen. Some leachate does escape into the aquifer with high-grade uranium dissolved in the water. There's contamination by uranium and heavy metals. Königstein rehabilitation cost billions. In Kazakhstan, aquifers are saline. They're undrinkable. So they can mine it. No problem. Worldwide exploration. For every mineral deposit that is drilled in the world, and that's just not 1 or 2 drill holes, but more than that. For every 1,000 deposits that are drilled in the world, 1 becomes a mine. So all the money spent on exploration and drilling for the other 999 is money out the window. It's gone. The mining companies understand that. And Leonardville should become one of those 999. If the pilot project is approved, it sets a precedent. It will then be difficult to refuse full-scale ISL mining, and it will be contested in court. You can bet your bottom dollar. And it will be even more difficult to refuse future ISL mining projects in the Stampede Artesian Basin.
The Stampede Artesian Basin spans southeastern Namibia and extends into Botswana and South Africa.
With trusted quality and great value on all Clicks brand products, switch and save. Buy Clicks antibacterial dishwashing liquid, $37.99 each. Buy Clicks thick bleach, $28.99 each. And buy Clicks antibacterial cleaning products from $49.99 each. Or buy a Safeway steam iron, $284 each. Clicks, feel good, pay less.
We can't wait to get the whole gang together. But until then, let's stay safe.
In other leading stories, the Development Bank of Namibia has announced the formal closure of investigations and subsequent disciplinary inquiries which emanated from the widely reported alleged infractions in allocating finance. 7 DBN employees were placed on administrative leave during April of 2020 in order to make way for unhindered investigations on the alleged misconduct. After the protracted commission processes of investigations and subsequent disciplinary inquiries, which were outsourced to external parties to ensure impartiality, the bank is happy to inform that the matter has now been finalized and suspended employees have since returned to work. The bank holds its employees to high ethical standards in the execution of their work, and the necessary systems and processes are in place to manage employee conduct. The bank encourages its stakeholders to report alleged fraud or corruption involving DBN staff, clients, or potential clients. The Namibia Blood Transfusion Services, or NAMBTS, released a statement this week in which they revealed that blood stock levels have dropped to 2-day supply. This means that blood banks and hospitals in the country have blood stocks that will last on average 2 days. NAMBTS says that they will need at least 1,000 units of blood per week, of which 60% should be Group O. The increase in usage in hospitals, which has picked up since September, coupled with low intakes in recent weeks, has led to low blood stocks. Zita Tobin, manager for donor recruitment and PR, said that their appeal for donations is serious as there are not enough blood donation clinics at schools and tertiary institutions, which normally bring in a lot of the blood per clinic session.
Growing together means that nobody is left behind.
Supporting each other regardless of our unique destinations.
Het is belangrijk om saam te werk, om nieuwe hoogtes te bereiken, wat je niet op je eie kan doen nie.
When we grow together, I expect to see a future where all those dreams that everybody that has been attaining to reach have been fulfilled.
I see a future
filled with endless possibilities.
And who I want to share this future with is my family, my friends, my loved ones,
my significant other, my teammate, and my partner in life.
The people that are pushing me today, right now.
Buy shares in the initial public offering of MTC. It is a future worth investing in. MTC, make the connection.
Thank you, One Africa TV, for changing lives and improving lives for the better. Happy 18th birthday.
Joseph Shifeni standing by for today's Business on One and economic indicators.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shifeni. Spur is one of the most popular fast food outlets in the country, with over 6 stores nationwide, including 3 in Windhoek. The franchise welcomes the ease in restrictions as operations get back to normal. Spur recently made a donation to a local youth community initiative, after which the manager of the outlet, Martin Heikali, spoke to Business on One on how the franchise is welcoming more customers after months of having to operate on a takeaway basis and still managing to retain the staff complement.
I can really not say that we've been coping, but then obviously we managed to pull through within these difficult times, even though, we haven't retrenched any of our employees. But we still hope that things will go our way now that the president uplifted all the regulations. So we're hoping to keep it this way and do more business. People have been hungry, they've been waiting for all this opportunity just to come have the spare ribs and, those deki, buffalo wings and all that. So yes, people couldn't wait. So that's why, people are flocking every day.
In efforts to give back to the community this week, the company gave a donation to a youth organization whose members will be on the streets patrolling to combat crime as the festive season approaches.
The 3 Spur State ranches in Windhoek, namely Grand Canyon, Mountain Eagle and Santa Fe, would hereby like to offer a handbag to the community watch of the Twahafa Trading Enterprises in collaboration with the Namibian Police and Security to help prevent crimes as we are approaching the festive season. Let's empower our youth, let's keep our community crime-free.
We are not only thankful for the financial donation, but we also thank them for giving us hope and energy to execute this project. And then secondly, I would also like to call on other business communities, not only in Windhoek, but also in other parts of the country. Because this project is not only in Windhoek, but also in Shikoto and Oshana regions. So I would like other business communities to also come on board and follow in the footsteps of Spur. Because us, Community Watch alone, can't execute the project without a helping hand from the business community.
Spur says that they expect business to pick up as the world returns to normalcy and that they are ready to serve Namibians with their mouth-watering ribs to reflect on the brighter side of things. Thank you for watching. Join me again next time and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Compliment Gap? Compliment Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders. Invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey kids, are you in primary school and want to get extra supplementary maths, English and science lessons? Then invite Learning In with One Africa TV's #LearnOn1 every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite Learning In.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. Liswani Kambinda planted his first mango tree in his village in 1988 for the sole purpose of feeding his family. He began planting more fruit trees as time went by, and today Kambinda owns one of the most sizable vegetable gardens in the Kazwili village. Farmeric Enterprises CC says he should keep on shining. Henry finds it very impressive. Vasco says he should keep it up. While Rue notes that these are the kinds of stories she wants to hear. And that's all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day, only on Today on One.
This is my favorite gear, cause it speaks for me and all my brothers. Nivea Men Black and White Deo. With 5 times Deo action to protect you and your favorite gear from stains. Try Nivea's #1 anti-stain deodorant. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
Full of cheers. Tafolaga, Namibian like you.
Up next is Castro Lumbu with today's sports update.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm your host, Castro Ulumbu. After a shaky start to the 2021 ICC Men's T20 World Cup with a defeat by Sri Lanka, the Namibia national senior men's cricket team went on to win 2 of their Group A matches to set up a debut in the Super 12 round. The Eagles' first game in the Super 12 saw them beat Scotland by 4 wickets. Today on One Sports has more on this story. In a Zoom interview, fast bowler Ruben Trampelman, who was named man of the match against Scotland, spoke about the win, his performance, as well as his experience so far at the World Cup.
It's been awesome. My dad and my granddad's been here at the World Cup the whole time, so they're thoroughly enjoying it. But I've received a lot of support from my family, my mom and my other grandparents as well, especially, and family, cousins. So it's really awesome for us, just going out there, getting the exposure and, loving every moment of it. It's awesome. And it's stuff you don't dream about. You just, sometimes someone mentions it and then you say, that would be cool. And then you go on. That was something phenomenal. It hasn't really sunk until this morning what really happened. I was like in the game, you're just busy, you're just trying to get the game done. You focus on the game and afterwards you're trying to process what happened. And it was just like looking back at that moment, it's just something I can't really explain to you. I think life-changing potentially, all of that, it's awesome. I really, really loved it. And yeah, hopefully I get a clip or two of my spell that I can rewatch it a few times just to soak in all the stuff going around me. Because while you're in the moment there, you're just pumped and ready to go for the next ball. Obviously, I had to hit my straps quickly. We had a game plan and wanted to stick to that. And luckily for me, it came off nice with a wicket first up of Manzi. He's a real good player and a real threat from Scotland. So that just gave us the upper hand. And from there on, I saw the ball was swinging around a bit, and I just knew I had to stick to my guns. Practice well, put training into practice, and that's what I did. I always look for a bit of swing around there. I think it's part of my skill set I have. Something I've had from a younger age. At first, I was afraid to bowl swinging the ball because I was just swinging it too much, couldn't control it. But I've learned over time how to control it. And if it's going around like I did last night, you just want to use it to your advantage. So yeah, that's just what happened. 2 wide down leg, the ball just went more than I expected, and like read my lines and got the lines right. So that's awesome.
Trampelman further added that the team is excited after their victory against Scotland and is looking forward to facing Afghanistan, Pakistan, and New Zealand as he promises fireworks in the upcoming games.
Well, Bulletin camp's very good. We've 3 games on the bounce. We won now, so that's awesome. Going forward, I think. Coming into the tournament, our goal was to get into Super 12s, and we did that. We believed in our ability, and now we've won our first game. We've beaten all the best associate nations now. So for us, that's a massive plus point. And going on now, we've got 4 big games against four big nations, and we excited for the opportunity to play against them, learn a few stuff, and definitely make the time as hard as possible as we can. Maybe even causing an upset or 2. We're not here to hang around. We definitely have to play cricket, and yeah, that's just how we approach the game. We're not going to die wondering. They've got quality players, big names, but we come with a bit of the unknown. And the T20 game, anyone can win the game. It takes one player to destroy a team, and that's how it is. So if it's our day, it's our day. If it's their day, it's their day. All you can do is just be the best you can be and take every opportunity you get. So hopefully in the games, we can be competitive and give them a run for their money. And if it's our day, it's our day. So yeah, we'll definitely be going hard at it.
The Eagles will next face Afghanistan on Sunday the 31st of October, Pakistan on Tuesday the 2nd of November, and tournament favourites New Zealand on Friday the 5th of November. And that is all we have for you tonight. Join us again next week for Sports on One. And don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Thanks, Castro, for that update. Up next is the weather forecast.
I look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior is sunny and warm to hot in the south. Elsewhere, partly cloudy and hot to very hot with a few to isolated thundery showers over the central northern regions and the northeast. Windy weather will persist in the interior in places. The coast, fine and warm in the south, elsewhere partly cloudy and cool with fog patches in the morning. The wind moderate southeasterly to southwesterly. Now we look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
That's all we have for you. Do join us again next time. From me, Isai Sipunga, and the rest of the team, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Welcome to the Tsumeb Hospital. This hospital at the back here has a complex facility in Tsumeb, is dating back to 1910. 2018, we joined up with the GIPF. We were very happy to have a senior partner. They got involved in the hospital. They contributed 10 million at that stage for 49% shareholding. Now through that, we have a solid partner and we can move the long way. We can actually shift mountains and we can be an example to other investments like the hospital where the GIPF is involved. We have introduced the first CT scan. We have a radiologist here, so are you ready? That's the first one in the triangle. And we hope that through the CT scan, we can support the theatre. We can actually prevent people from driving, spending money on accommodation, send a loved one to far places, and then they must recover by themselves or spend a lot of cost on accommodation and traveling. We can do it here in Tsumeb.
Welkom hier by Tsumeb Privaat Hospitaal. Ek is Ansie Hanekom, ek is die hospitaalbestuurder, hospital manager Tsumeb Private Hospital. Ons het verskillende dissiplines, medies, chirurgie, kinderafdeling, maternity. Ons het 39 personeellede, 95% is dames, goeie personeel, lekker skoon linne, spierwit linne, kom na ons toe, uitmuntende diens wat julle hier sal kry, vriendelike personeel en almal is welkom hier by ons.
Dr. Sibanda. I am a general practitioner and an occupational health practitioner at this unit at Tsumeb Private Hospital. I'm in charge of the occupational health clinic. I offer advice to the hospital on health matters, and I do the aeromedical examinations for the Namibia Civil Aviation Authority. What we do is we prevent the onset of illnesses in employees. And the other thing is to check whether people are fit for the jobs that they are applying for, and making sure that we maintain the health of the employees in good shape so that they can continue to be very useful to their companies.
Hello, my name is Beverly Savas. I'm enrolled nurse here at Tsumeb Private Hospital. We attend to our patients 100%, and all the patients that are here, they appreciate our service. And we help psychologically, physically. That's how we help our patients here.
Basically, this is what is commonly known as computed tomography scan, commonly known as CT scan. So it can be used in a lot of instances. For example, like in patients which are involved in road accidents, it can be used to evaluate the brain if at all there is any blood corrections in the brain. It can also be used to check the spreading of the cancer, for example, like in the chest, in the abdomen. It can also check maybe how big the abdominal mass is, the swellings in the abdomen. It can give us all that information.
The GIPF is privileged to be part of the investment in the Tsumeb Private Hospital, which we consider as one of those strategic investments. As you know, Namibia is blessed with vast distances, and Tsumeb is located at a location which is quite strategic in many ways. It's a gateway to the 4 regions, but also an industrial hub in its own right. The Tsumeb Private Hospital renders those essential health services that are essential for any community. And we are happy to be part in the sense that it provides all the vital services as was articulated by the various speakers in this platform. And we look forward to see this investment developing further and expanding its services accordingly. And I'm also happy to say that it augments the services rendered by the public health sector, but also it's being done in conjunction with the private hospitals in the area, especially the private hospitals in Ongwediva, that render specialized services. So there is a synergy in the utilization of the key services accordingly.
Scientists are racing to find a COVID-19 vaccine. Creating a vaccine usually takes years, sometimes even decades. More than 150 vaccine candidates are being developed worldwide. Some of the trials furthest ahead have produced encouraging results. Several possible vaccines appear to have produced an immune response with antibodies, T cells, and no serious side effects. Antibodies are protective proteins that fight infections in the body. Some T cells kill infected cells. Others help B cells to make the right antibodies to fight a virus. It's uncertain how long immunity to COVID-19 would last. 6 other human coronaviruses have been known about for years. Natural immunity for the most common 4 is quite short-lived and generally lasts a few years. A COVID-19 vaccine could require booster jabs after years or even months. Scientists are using a variety of methods to make a vaccine. Several human trials are creating vaccines using the genetic code of the virus. Other human trials, and some with animals, are trying more traditional methods, such as using a weakened or inactive virus. This variety might lead to more than one type of vaccine. Having several could actually be very useful, as each one may be more effective among different people. Despite the promising progress, it's not guaranteed an effective and reliable vaccine will be found. If there isn't one, the virus might eventually infect everyone. Some scientists are hoping to have a vaccine ready for limited use before the end of this year, but most are predicting mid-2021. Once regulators have approved a vaccine, billions of doses will have to be made. Then there's the tricky task of distributing and administering it on a global scale. Collaboration will be needed so the poorest don't miss out. Health workers could be at the front of the queue to get it. But who should be next in line?
A rare tropical disease, the Zika virus, is spreading rapidly in parts of Latin America and the Caribbean. In March 2015, the Zika virus first surfaced in Brazil and has infected more than 1 million people. The International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, and the Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO, have responded swiftly to the Zika crisis. These UN agencies came together to make available a nuclear technology that controls pests by rendering the males infertile with radiation. This is called the Sterile Insect Technique, or SIT. A group of scientists from around the world gathered in Brazil recently to examine SIT's effectiveness. They have concluded that SIT is an efficient, safe, and environmentally friendly technique to control pests and fight diseases such as Zika. Conceived in the early 1930s, the idea behind SIT is a simple one. It involves bringing the insects into a laboratory, rearing them in large numbers, and sterilizing only the males with ionizing radiation such as gamma or X-rays. For SIT to work, millions of sterile male insects must be released into the wild for several months to outnumber the fertile ones.
What's going to happen is that these sterile males are going to seek out the virgin females, they're going to mate, but there's going to be no offspring. So there's going to be reduced population replacement, and you will see that after a while the target population is going to go down.
At the IAEA's Insect Pest Control Laboratory in Siebersdorf, Austria, Entomologists have been developing and improving this technique for over 50 years. It's already been used in around 25 countries, mainly to tackle pests, such as fruit flies and tsetse flies. Experts are now developing techniques for the mass rearing of mosquitoes and transferring them to countries affected by Zika to help them integrate SIT into their pest control programs. Over 100,000 mosquitoes from 3 different species are kept here. Special attention is being given to this one, the Aedes aegypti, which is responsible for spreading the Zika virus.
What we have seen in the past is that Aedes aegypti control with conventional control tools has not been very successful. So we consider this as one additional new tool that could be used to integrate with the conventional methods.
Scientists have created a special environment for the entire life cycle of the mosquito, from the egg to the larvae, to the pupae to the adult. The pests live, feed and mate in large, specially designed cages. Thorough research has determined the right dose of radiation to sterilize the males without damaging them or affecting their mating ability. In a further step to help countries tackle the Zika virus, the IAEA is providing portable equipment for the rapid detection of the virus. Training scientists from the affected countries to use this system is also underway. When fully implemented and used alongside other control methods, the sterile insect technique could help countries reduce the numbers of mosquitoes and cope better with the diseases that these small but deadly creatures can spread. This report was produced by Louise Potterton for the United Nations.
And I've got the power to choose between wrong and between right. And what I choose is my decision. Come on now, tough. Can you see I'm a chooser? I just choose what is right, I don't hurt nobody. I don't wanna be a loser. Just take my hand and let's change what we see now. Can you see I'm a chooser? I just choose what is right, I don't hurt nobody. I'm a winner, not a loser. Choice, my friend, don't be afraid now. Yeah, this is for all of my sisters. You should never live a life full of mistrust. You are strong, you are beautiful. To treat you any less unconstitutional. Hey, oh, baby, it's on now. Time will change, make the right from the wrong now. Shut it down till they all understand. We are the 77%. Cause from now on, enough is enough. Show respect, break the silence, man. If we unite, we are tougher than tough. Let's stop all the gender-based violence, ma. Can you see I'm a chooser? I just choose what is right, I don't hurt nobody. I don't wanna be a loser. Just take my hand and let's change what we see now. Can you see I'm a chooser? I just choose what is right, I don't hurt nobody. I'm a winner, not a loser. It's your choice, my friend, don't be afraid now. Yeah, now let me ask you, my brother. Would you ever disrespect your mother? Yeah, you say you're the king, but do you know what it means? Cause real kings always take care of their queens. Yeah. Oh, well, the real men now. We don't rape, we relate and protect now. Shut it down till they all understand. We are the 77%. Cause from now on, enough is enough. Show respect, break the silence, man. If we unite, we are tougher than tough. Let's stop all the gender-based violence, man. Can you see I'm a chooser? I just choose what is right, I don't hurt nobody.